This is Life at Night.
Hopping on the podcast.
No, it's called Life at Night.
Life at Night.
Yeah, it's Life at Night podcast.
Life at Night.
No BS, no script.
Thank you for tuning in to Life at Night. And we're on. Awesome. Thank you for coming back, man. This is awesome. We're gonna talk some Star Wars today. First, how are you doing? So the two listeners know.
Oh, tired. Those, as I always told people, no, I knew getting 2 extra puppies was not a smart idea. Those 2 definitely keep me busy.
I was shocked that you were willing to go get them.
Hey,
Like,
you know what though? They're great. They're great.
I mean,
They're living up to their namesakes. Oh, they are living up to their namesakes.
Okay, so Ahsoka is Ahsoka.
Oh, yes, and she is feisty, and she has an attitude, and she talks back. Anakin's doesn't like it when I'm gone all day. Like, when I came home today from the farmer's market, he was the first one, and is always the first one, to give me a very stern talking to. Like,
So-
he just sits there and sort of just talks, and he just goes off on me like, okay, I get it. I was gone too long for your liking.
I imagine that their father is at least half husky, because I don't know if you've seen him. I haven't been able to get a clear picture of him.
I think she sent me a picture a while ago.
But he's white, all white,
Yeah.
and his tail kind of curves, but he has some features that are husky-like.
Yeah.
And I want to say like he's got some of
I'm
that in him.
eventually gonna get their little doggy DNA done, just because.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I've done it before for pets like that, just because, and that's how I found out my old black lab. He was a black lab. He was an American Lab Bull Mastiff, and 125 pounds of dog.
So that works like Ancestry?
Yeah, it's just
Or-
like that for dogs. It kind of breaks down their DNA makeup. So,
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they actually do stuff like that
yeah,
for dogs.
it's like $100, I think, ish. Something
Oh,
like
so
that. But it's about the same.
Yeah, that's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
I might have to do that for.
A friend of mine did it for one she just got for her puppy. She just got from a shelter in Illinois, and so it came back. Broke down the bloodline and everything. And how it was the same with this for humans.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll
Huh.
get it done for these 2 at some point.
Yeah,
I want to do them there separately because because they're gonna be, even though they're brother sister, they're gonna be.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be different.
Man, I'm so sorry that you're tired today.
Oh, dude, it's better than last weekend. Last weekend I couldn't barely move. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like I skipped the farmer's market because I couldn't move. Like it was just bad. Like I could move, it just wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah,
nice.
but like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
It was
tired.
I stayed home and.
Is it
I went out with
is
the
it
dogs
just the
for a little
dogs?
bit. No, it was that my back was just hurting with the weather and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
You get affected like that by the weather?
yeah.
Man, the weather's the seasons. I feel them like I don't know, something's going on. It's like wanting to change. I like the other day. I feel like we had like a false autumn.
Right.
Like
It
everything
was like in the
that day was
80s
just
instead of
crazy.
like the 100, and it was like what was going on, and it was storming and gross. And
My allergies act up with the change of every season, so it's always
pollen.
something.
Start taking bee pollen.
Yeah, local, right? Local, it helps you with the stuff around, whatever.
Pretty sure I gave some to the wife a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
She needs more.
I should ask her where that's, or I could open my eyes. That's usually all I got to do.
That would
is
probably
just
help too.
Open my eyes and just
That
look
would
around.
probably help too.
Yeah.
It helps me sometimes. And it's
All right. First things first. Okay. I want to get into. Basically, we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and shit all over everything first.
Yeah.
But I do want to, at least by the end of it, do it on a good note and just talk about the stuff that we love. But
I'll tell you one thing I learned really quick is I just started the Ahsoka audiobook, which is set after Clone Wars, but
Yeah.
before the show and Rebels.
you want to bring that?
Oh, yeah,
just
sorry.
like it's okay if you spit on it if
Yeah, it's
you're
fine.
too close or whatever. But
One thing I just started the Ahsoka audiobook, and it's set after Clone Wars, but before Rebels and the show and in the Disney show and everything. It's that in between time frame.
okay.
But Ashley Eckstein, the voice actor for Ahsoka in
Oh.
Clone Wars, narrates the book. I told a buddy of mine, he goes, "Didn't you see that when you looked at the cover?" And I'm like, "I don't pay attention to that. I just saw the
you don't-
Ahsoka name.
You don't judge a book by its cover. You just
Right.
get into it.
I saw the Ahsoka name, and I didn't see so and so's narrating it." And so I started listening to it the other day because
Yeah.
I was actually I picked up the little the X-wing mecha thing, the Lego one,
Okay.
And so I started listening to that, and I was like, holy, like I was like, it made my little nerd brain happy. So
That's cool. Audible, I feel like is going to be a lifesaver for me because I tend to run out of podcasts and music and stuff. I'm working at night, so I think I'm going to try to at least like maybe once every other check or so, just buy a new book.
Well, so if you
Audible?
subscribe to Audible, you get one credit a month.
Yeah, but my wife and I share it, the credits.
Oh, that's fair.
So I get one month, she gets one the next month. So up until that, because I'm probably going to be a little more rapid about it because I'm listening 8 hours worth a night. You know,
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Ahsoka book, I think is like 7 hours and change or something like that total.
Man. Then I should be able to finish that unless I really take my time with
There's
it. But,
and they've got a whole chronological order for them too. If you really want to go like. I'm not like I just kind of grab them as I see fit, but like I've got the Darth Bane trilogy on there. I've got the Rise and Fall of Darth Vader. I haven't started that one yet. I got an Obi-Wan book. I got a Yoda one. I got one on Maul. I got the Ahsoka one.
I'm really interested in Thrawn.
There's an entire Thrawn series too.
I've been hearing about that one for years.
Yeah,
and it's just I don't know why. Like I'm getting more excited now because like before it's like, man, I got to read all these books, but like for me, Star Wars is something I visualize.
If Thrawn is really interesting you this much, you really have to watch Rebels.
I know.
Like I'm serious, man. Like everybody, like a lot of. I just got a buddy of mine. He's started getting into the animated shows after, and I kind of gave him a chronological order to follow, and he's loving them. And in Rebels, one of the, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to let you know one of the absolute saddest, tear-jerking moments that will still bring a tear to my 36-year-old eye. To this day, every time I watch it, and it just did last month when I watched this because I just finished Rebels again, and again, it does every single time. One of the saddest scenes in all of Star Wars happens in Rebels, and it will get you every single time. I don't care who you are.
Well, my shows are pretty much coming to an end.
Yeah.
Right now, the summer's pretty much over, so I'm going to have more time to get through some shows. So I'm gonna pick it all up. I'm gonna start with Clone Wars. And then I'm going to go into the Rebels, and then I'm going to do the Bad Batch, and so
if you're going to watch them kind of chronologically, you're going to want to watch them. It's you're going to go Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and then Rebels. If you're going to go like in the order of which they happen, like not in order in which they came out, but the order of which like the timeline of which they happen.
Mm-hmm.
So your Clone Wars is going to happen, and obviously in between episodes 1 and 2, and stuff like that. And then you've got. Bad Batch, which happens immediately after Order 66.
Yes.
And then Rebels takes place further down the line. Now, the nice thing, if you pay attention to all of this, like it actually all ties in together. And it makes it so great.
What I find interesting about Star Wars, like because of the way George Lucas kind of like laid out the films and stuff, is when you go to watch it and as you progress through time and you're watching these movies, you can also reflect back on the old movies at the same time because it just kind of makes you feel like you're like wise, I guess. Like you're watching you're watching like the Phantom Menace. And you see Darth Vader's shadow behind little Anakin, and you're just thinking like that motherfucker is gonna kill everyone. Like he's gonna like destroy everything.
Revenge of the Sith is one of it. To me, it ties. Like I go back and like Empire for me is top notch. Like that's top tier, but Episode 3 is neck and neck. Like it's a 9.9 for me. If Empire's a 10, Revenge of the Sith is a 9.9.
See,
because like it. Oh man!
For me, it is Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Because I was a child, and when I seen that, my mind was fucking blown. Like I was just like, no, Annie. Like I didn't want, because he was like my hero. Going through it, and I was like, it's like, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones at all.
I stopped after season 2.
Well, so do you care about spoilers?
No.
Okay. So
I read all the books anyways.
Okay, so you know how I know it completely goes away from the books.
That's why I stopped.
From what I understand, what I saw just watching the shows, you're rooting for Daenerys to take her shit back. You're rooting for her the whole way, and then she turns into the villain.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing for me with Anakin. It's like you don't want them, but you kind of understand and you see from their perspective, like why everything goes the way it does, and it's so sad. It's like watching Dune at the same time.
The best part about it is they always say, like, you know, what if the prophecy was misinterpreted?
Yeah.
It 100% was. They just said he was the chosen one. He would bring balance to the Force. They never said how he was going to bring balance to the Force.
That's the beauty of it too. That's,
you know,
that's so fucking awesome.
They didn't say he was going to exterminate the Sith. They also didn't say he was going to take a bunch of younglings and, well, you know.
Yes. Oh, okay. Here's my thing. Perfect little segue into the bleeding of the Kyber crystal. Okay. If so the explanation that I heard or that I read online, because someone who made the Acolyte show or whatever.
Yeah.
They said that because of the emotional blah blah blah, it can instantly bleed a crystal or whatever.
Okay,
hold on. How come Anakin's never bled?
So, get into the comics. You'll read this more.
Okay.
So, in order for the traditional way for the Sith to get their lightsaber is they take a lightsaber from a Jedi that they've killed, and then they bleed the crystal from that Jedi's lightsaber.
Okay.
It's not something that's done just on a whim unconsciously. Like, there is time, effort, and there's like,
aren't they sitting there using the Force like to
they,
do it?
They basically they make the crystal bend to their will because kyber crystals naturally align to the light side of the Force.
Okay, yeah.
So when what the Sith does is they pour their emotions, their anger, their hatred, everything into that crystal, and they make the crystal bend to its will, which causes the red glow to it. Now, somebody like Kylo Ren's, his was very unstable. His was semi-resistant to it, and which is why it kind of looks that way.
Yeah.
The first one that Anakin bled as Vader, it shattered because it fought him tooth and nail. So it's not something that's done on a whim and like they showed, in my opinion.
I feel like they're trying to make Osha this extremely hidden, powerful person.
No, yeah.
And it's just none of it works. I honestly feel like they didn't need to have twins. They could have probably focused on the
well, in the end, they said they weren't even twins, anyways. Like they were.
They're two. They're the exact same person, but just two of them because made through the Force. It's like
I have this problem where so if you get into the Audible thing too, 100%. Like I was telling you before, start with check out the Darth Plagueis book because the Darth Plagueis book takes place during Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you're hearing all of this at the same time. You understand how Plagueis is chasing immortality and everything else through and trying to create beings through the Force. Like they're completely undermining that, and yes, their little glimpse of him in the. That's their effort into trying to make a fan appeal, in my opinion, and it's a very poorly done one.
Where does he even line up? Would he even be a master at all, or anything?
Not
at that
time. He would be. I don't think Plagueis was actually. I don't remember if Plagueis was actually around during the High Republic era, because. That's when this is taking place. Just like, Count of Mundi wasn't actually supposed to be around his race isn't even that old.
Okay, so I heard so many people blow up about that.
Yeah.
And I heard so many people at the same time, they were mad because they're like, oh no, he wasn't alive around then. But then other people were like, well, where are you getting your information from? And they said, well, back of this
Legends.
this Audible book where he was mentioned for like 15 seconds in a love story that didn't matter or some shit like that. Like everyone's really downplaying it. And then that's where the whole T canon, G canon, all that stuff comes into play.
So think about this, whatever the dude's name is that was wearing the metal mask, right? I don't remember his name.
Khmer.
Yeah. So he killed 5-6 Jedi in a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think somebody like Yoda would have felt that in the Force? That's not something that gets hidden.
I don't think so.
Yoda was very attuned to how many.
Well, yeah, let me explain.
Something like that. Just you don't hide that kind of thing from Yoda.
I don't know because in Order 66, when everybody went down, he felt that. He was like, what? Like, you know, he actually kind of like went down on a knee, right? Like he.
Well, yeah.
Right, because everybody was getting slaughtered. I think when it's on a scale like that, of course he's gonna feel it. But I mean, I feel like these Jedi were nothing. They're on a completely different planet, so far off, and
it doesn't matter though.
Like, because with that, I feel like Yoda should have, if he should have felt those, he should have felt May when May showed up and everything that she's attached to. Then he should have felt Kamir even being a presence,
exactly.
and then the
you're
witches.
Seeing where the rest of us are.
Like if it's in that sense, but like I feel like also. Because they're so, I don't know. I just feel like these Star Wars characters in the show are so insignificant. Yoda shouldn't be worried about them.
I want to know why a Padawan was using a Jedi Sentinel's lightsaber color for one. Like no Padawan is a Jedi Sentinel.
yeah.
No, that's not how that works.
They probably threw that in there for the same reason why we had to see a Jedi completely disrobed. Steaming his clothes or whatever the fuck.
And they made half the fight scenes look like Matrix scenes. Why? There's no point in
So
all
I
that.
remember when you said that, and I was thinking about it.
That was
like,
in the very first episode.
Because I went and watched it.
And there.
And honestly, man, I want to see the light in it all. You know, I want to be like, oh, maybe it was homage because it's Trinity. You know, maybe she had something to do with a collaboration or something. And if they said something like that, like it's collaboration on it, like because it's something that she comes from.
But I'm expecting like this is Star Wars content. I'm expecting to see Star Wars stuff. Like I don't want to see the Matrix built into it.
It's like they tried so hard to do their own thing with this story, but it just wasn't working because you could tell they're not fans of Star Wars.
No, and there's I don't know how much truth there is to this because it's just something you see on the internet. But you know, it's one of those where I seen somebody saying they were trying to basically underwrite the Skywalker saga and like basically make that non-canon, and I'm like, there's no way that's gonna ever fly.
No,
even if there's any type of truth of that, that'll never fly.
Yeah, no,
like that's
I don't
an entire
ever see
universe.
that
Like Star
happening.
Wars is the Skywalker saga.
You know,
everything that's happened in between it.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. And I think what Lucasfilm needs to do is, first of all, get rid of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes.
She needs to get the fuck out of there.
Dave Filoni needs to keep just in general.
I think he's playing the long game. I think he's just waiting, and I think he will eventually. But also, what I think needs to happen with Star Wars is, for now at least, abandon the Skywalker saga completely. Go so far into the future where you can't fuck anything up, you know, and then just
that'd be one way to do it.
And then just fucking tell a story, a simple fucking story. It doesn't have to be a redo of A New Hope like the Force Awakens was. I'm sorry, The Force Awakens was really good. I loved it. It like sparked that like, oh my god, Star Wars for me, you know. But at the same time,
I will give
something new.
I don't hate the sequel part, like 7 through 9.
Okay.
I don't hate. I try to, because even when I do my binge watching on May 4th through the 6th, they are like it's 1, 2, 3. It's Solo, Rogue One, you know, and then 4 through 6, and then 7 through 9 too. You know, I binge watch all of the movies.
You take it all for what it is,
right?
Yeah.
Now, do I? It's like I'm overcritical on a lot of things. For instance, like Thor Ragnarok, they brought in, they tried to do the World War Hulk series, and the Planet Hulk thing, and it just destroyed it for me. I see what they tried to do, and they made the movie an entertaining movie, but they destroyed one of my favorite timelines, and it made me sad.
Yeah.
Now I see like they did what they could to make episodes 7 through 9 somewhat entertaining. 7, not so much. 8 was definitely better. 9, they could have went a completely different way with Rey and everything else, and I did not. And
I feel like
I think they kind of rushed the end. Like once they finally got to the ending, I think they rushed too much of it. And then when they finally said Rey Skywalker, and I'm like, no, that's not no.
You know, there's always this thing that keeps occurring in Star Wars that I've noticed, aside from the prequels. So always this thing, with George Lucas, when he was making the original trilogy, he was teasing with the idea of Luke Skywalker turning to the dark side, and like even Mark Hamill was on board with it. Everybody was on board with it. It was a whole thing. And then the same situation happened with Rey, the character of Rey, where like J.J. Abrams and everybody was talking about like this was at the time when like I think right before they started filming the third one in that trilogy, or episode 9, just to
The
clarify.
sequel trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, the sequel trilogy. They were going based on what happened off the second movie, where they're like, well, you know what if she turned? What if like they were thinking about having her turn to the dark side too, and how it could make all the sense in the world and blah blah blah. But then they just don't go for it. I think they should have went for it. I think they should have just took what Rian Johnson did with the second one and just go headstrong into it all.
Yeah.
They should have just, because I never caught the vibe that she would turn to the dark side. But I think if she did, she could have embraced the Palpatine name and made it her own thing.
What they tried to do, or at least what a lot of us think they tried to do, was introduce the fan part of the whole Great Jedi thing.
Ugh.
The Great Jedi thing isn't technically canon or whatever. It's it's been in the comic, and it's mentioned in the books and everything else, but it's not technically canon on some of that.
Qui-Gon.
Exactly. Like if anybody more so than Rey, it's going to be Qui-Gon and Ahsoka that were more leaning towards that particular side, because they tried to understand that those two really tried to understand both sides of the Force.
Yeah.
And that's part of my opinion. That's why Qui-Gon became part of the living Force faster than anybody else is, because that's what he truly tried to embrace. So.
Oh, man, I want a live action version of Qui-Gon's story.
He's got there's an entire book too with Qui-Gon and everything else, and there's a Dooku thing where Qui-Gon apprenticing under him, and then it's got the entire part of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan before Phantom Menace. There's a book for that, so like you can really get into a lot of Qui-Gon story. Like me and a buddy of mine, we always have a conversation. One of the biggest conversations we have is, what if Qui-Gon stayed alive? Like that man, Qui-Gon staying alive would have changed the outcome of everything.
That probably would have.
Anakin never would have went dark side. Anakin never would have went dark side, because Qui-Gon would have taught him how to embrace everything.
What would have happened to Obi-Wan, do you think?
Obi-Wan would have eventually found Ahsoka. I think, in my personal opinion, Obi-Wan would have eventually found Ahsoka.
And yeah,
because Ahsoka was strong with the Force when she was born, anyways, and she would have still been born. And I think Obi-Wan would have been the one to find her and train her. So
that's interesting. I think, man, how do you think he would have brought balance, Anakin, if Qui-Gon was around? If he was the chosen one.
If Qui-Gon was around and was able to train Anakin would have caught on, I think, to Palpatine and them a lot sooner. Like, I think he would have been able to feel them more in the Force.
Bring him to justice the way he was talking about before he ended up.
Well, it's not so much bringing him to justice. It's like they would have actually been able to discern who the Sith Lord was, like, faster than the entire Clone Wars part. Like, the Clone Wars probably would have happened, but nowhere near on the scale that they did. Like, Palpatine would have been found out much sooner and stopped, I think, with Qui-Gon training Anakin.
Is there a reason why Yoda couldn't just feel that it was Palpatine the whole time?
Fan theory, ignorance on that particular thing, because again, everybody thought the Sith was extinct.
Yeah.
Now, and that's one of the arguments for the Acolyte is, oh, well, they thought the Sith were extinct, so this, that, and the other, and they were just trying to hide it. But the Acolyte also tried to make the Jedi feel like they were a bunch of child stealers, and that's not how they work.
I can see that point of view, though.
That's right, but that's not how they work.
Yeah.
And that's what the Acolyte tried to do, and that's really not how that happens.
I don't I in some ways
they are found through the Force, and then the Jedi watch them. The parents are given the option to send the kids, and if they don't, they still keep tabs on them.
I did a little bit of a fan fiction like a couple years ago for Star Wars, and like I was saying a few minutes ago, go off into the future and just don't even fuck around with all the shit that's been established.
You know what they should do?
But
if Disney really wants something to build off of, take a look at Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's an MMO. Like, it's played on a computer and stuff, right? I played it for a good few years. It's actually really, really fun. I didn't play Jedi. I played Sith, and it's just fun.
Yeah,
And
no,
but it gets you play online with a bunch like with friends, whoever and but you go it's the old Republic, not the higher. It's the old Republic. So we're talking Darth Revan, Darth Malak, stuff like that. Like we're talking the real fun times.
Revan.
Watch the cut scenes from from that game.
Yeah.
And that, like, seriously, the Old Republic is, like, if they really wanted something good to build off of, they've got the entire Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic, they've got all that to build off of.
I would never trust Kathleen Kennedy to
no,
take that
no. That would get, no, I'd cry.
Yeah.
I would cry like a prepubescent boy, like, watching his first movie on something. I don't know, man. Like, I would cry.
I would
like, don't touch it, please.
I would say stay away from all that.
Like, if Dave Filoni wanted to, I'd back it all the way.
Yeah.
Like, he would do due diligence,
He would definitely do his best. Like, he would definitely give it his all. But yeah. I've heard so much about Darth Revan, and from what I understand of the games, you're able to choose.
Yeah.
You're able to choose like what he looks like, the gender and everything. You're able to.
Oh well, if you're playing the Old Republic, the MMO, yeah, you can choose whatever you look like.
So is there a mystery as to who Darth Revan actually is, or is he like an actual
he
character?
has his entire there's a book all about Darth Revan.
Okay.
Like you'll find it on. I've got it. It's on my Audible too.
Okay.
Like I've got a Darth Revan book. It's great.
So would Keanu Reeves actually be good to play Darth Revan?
Yeah, that's a good fan casting.
Yeah.
Like I 100% support that fan casting. A lot of us do.
Like an older Keanu Reeves?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It gets to be pretty good.
Because I have heard
Revan
so
there's a lot of Revan has a good story. The problem is a bunch of people when they're getting into the legend stuff like that, and Darth Nihilus and Darth Bane and Revan and that type of stuff. Most people flock to Revan because of his story, and he's got a really good story. I'll give him that. I'm just not a Revan fanboy. I like Darth Bane. Darth Bane's the reason why the Rule of Two, like Darth Bane created the Rule of Two.
And Darth Bane is Plagueis' master?
No, Darth Bane was around a lot. Darth Bane was around well before.
Who's Plagueis' master?
I'm brain farting on that one, but he definitely did kill his master. Like again, it's one of those like read the plague like how
because Plagueis' master had two apprentices, right? No, because didn't he send one after Plagueis after he?
Check out Plagueis' book, man.
Okay.
Check out Plagueis' book.
Okay. Okay.
Revan has a good story. I like the fact I love Darth Bane. Like Darth Bane is on my list of Star Wars tattoos to get. Now the next Star Wars tattoo I'm getting is gonna be Mando, but I've already got the Mythosaur skull and Boba Fett. Might as well just say I have to have Mando.
Yeah.
Dope.
Man.
Shoot, I just built freaking my Lego Slave One today.
Which
Boba
one?
Fett ship.
Oh yeah. What was it called again?
It's called the Slave One.
Yeah.
Like that's the name of this ship.
That was another thing that people had problems with.
Yeah.
Man,
like it's called Boba Fett Starship, but the name of it's Like yes, I know. Like yeah, people were like, it's just the name of the ship.
Shut up. Like everyone just keeps picking everything apart and fuck. Just shut the fuck up. It's just Star Wars. Like we have a lot more serious things in the world to be tripping over rather than fucking Star Wars. But no, and as we're talking about Star Wars and what we don't like and shit.
Okay, look. I've really tried. I cannot stand the show, and I watched all of it because I really tried to give it some type of fair. I can't.
Just lay into it, man.
I can see where people are coming from, where they're trying to say they're completely trying to undermine the entire Skywalker saga and how important Anakin's role was as the Chosen One. Mm-hmm. Like, he was born through the Force. That's how the Chosen One was conceived. Sorry, that's not like that. No, and if somebody like Plagueis couldn't figure that out, which people we know Plagueis didn't figure that out because. They talk about it in episode 1 and everything else. So something he never got to try. He never got to figure out. Yeah. There's no way that no.
And that's essentially George Lucas's words.
Yeah.
that Plagueis never figured it out, and now we're toying with the idea that Plagueis has been watching these old Great Value
Right,
Dathomir witches,
exactly.
and
And they're not even the Night Sisters.
Yeah.
Like if they were to make them connected to the Night Sisters somehow, I could buy more into that, because the Night Sisters are very, especially like Mother Talzin, she's she's a Force being. She's very connected to the Force.
they're right there. Why didn't they just use them?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
But then there was also somebody was telling me that they were trying to say that Shmi, Anakin's mom, was connected somehow to these witches, and I'm like, no, stop.
Yep, I was hearing a lot about that too. That actually, okay, so that came from a leaked, because they already wrote season 2, but it didn't get greenlit. So people started leaking stuff out about it or whatever, allegedly. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but that is one of the things they're going to dive into, the whole connection to how basically Shmi's bloodline goes. So it would eventually run down to her, and how she's connected to the witches and whatever, and they're gonna turn it into like it's a prophecy and a prophecy. One of us sisters are gonna give birth to basically the second coming and shit. It was gonna be some shit like that. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, and guess what? R2D2 and C3PO are a lesbian couple now.
That's a new one on me.
You didn't hear about that one?
Nope.
That came from
I did not.
That came from the director of the Acolyte series.
Oh, dear baby Yoda. Oh boy. No. Okay. No thanks. So if you've watched the Ahsoka series, you've seen Chopper in there, okay, the little droid with General Syndulla, with Hera.
Yeah.
If you get into watching Rebels, you're gonna see why Chopper's a war criminal.
Okay.
Yeah, like that droid.
That droid is a war criminal?
He may as well be. Like, he's got estimated somewhere near like 50,000 kills just based on sabotage. He's got more kills than most Sith.
Holy shit. Little badass droid.
He's also a shit starter too.
He's all hanging out with the kid, feeling the ocean, you know?
Yeah, but he's a shit starter. Like,
that's cool.
Some people hate him. Some people hate him.
I don't know. I think I'm going to be biased going into it, because I love Ahsoka. I love everything about that show.
A lot of people do, and Ahsoka, like, before I came over here, I literally just got done watching episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Okay.
Which is like hands down when they brought Anakin back and they had that.
Yeah.
That's like that entire episode was probably the best thing Star Wars to come out in the last since I don't know in a long time.
He's coming back.
I know, and I'm so happy for it, because it's nice nowadays that Hayden Christensen's getting a lot of the love that he is getting. Is people are going back and realizing, the prequels were great and everything. And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of cheese involved in those movies. Like Anakin's definitely a crybaby. I can see it in there. But
I
again,
hate the sand.
exactly. Again, I can see that. I'm not saying that's not there.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of why he got a lot of hate to begin with too.
But there's also things that people were complaining about when the original ones came out, even though they're mind blowing and everybody loved them. But the same thing with the prequels, and it's the same thing with the sequel trilogy. There's always something.
I'm still struggling to find a lot of the I see them for their entertainment value, but I do not like them.
In 10, 20 years from now, just like the prequels and then the originals, we're gonna be loving those ones too, because it's gonna happen. Remember this day, everybody.
I'm still struggling. I'm still like I told you before. Like, I've tried watching Andor again, and for like the 6th, 7th, 8th time, I keep falling.
I can't get past episode 2. I can't do it. I try. So I told you I was going to, right?
Yeah.
I fucking can't. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good. It's so dramatic. It's so blah." I'm like, dude, it's fucking boring.
I see what they were doing with it. They're getting it. It's one of those. They're not. Their show is away from the Force users and everything, and that's
cool.
fine.
Yeah.
But Rogue One was honestly enough of Cassian Andor for me.
Yeah, they die.
Like,
they're dead.
I did not need his entire story. He was not no.
He definitely wasn't the one I was looking at in Rogue One.
No,
he was definitely not the one that I gave a fuck about. It was
No.
Jyn Erso that I
Exactly.
gave more of a fuck about her father than I cared about
Facts.
Andor. You know,
Facts.
but I don't care about Andor. I don't care about any
No,
any of that
and-
shit. Like,
No, so here's one too. A lot of the 2D Clone War micro series that came out, like the animation, it's the 2D one that came out in the early 2000s. It's
yeah.
you've got to see it for what it is. Does that technically go with the canon series? Actually, no, not so. It doesn't actually align so much with the Clone Wars series, like the 3D one that they came out with.
Yeah.
But it does show you things like how Anakin became knighted.
Okay.
So how he went from the role, how he transitioned from the Jedi Padawan to Jedi Knight. So it does show you stuff like that. There's a few little it's definitely a good fan service thing to
yeah.
I got this one of the buddy of mine too. He's into the comic books, and I haven't read a lot of the comic books obviously, and it's the ones I have. It's been a long time. Like on my Kindle, I've got some of the different Darth Vader ones just because Vader.
Yeah.
And they're really, really good too. Like the Vader comics, like that's where you're going to see him bleeding his kyber crystal and doing that entire thing too.
Do you think that they should make a live action
No,
show?
no,
for that?
leave it. Don't touch it, please.
No.
No, don't touch it.
Why?
Leave it. Don't fix what ain't broke.
You don't want live action Christian Hayden coming back as Vader bleeding
I
the crystal?
like what they're doing. I like what they've done now. His appearance, like it's talking about Ahsoka again, episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
His appearance in that, like I fanboyed that entire episode. I did today.
Yeah.
Like I love watching that episode. I was telling a buddy of mine too, and I'm like, dude, I'm on that episode. He's like, "Huh?" I'm like, that episode of Ahsoka. He goes, "Oh."
So
like
wait-
I love the fact that I loved all the callbacks to Clone Wars, and like again, Clone Wars is one of the most top tier, like the 7-season animated show. That it is top tier Star Wars in my opinion. You
Yeah.
get some of the best story in all of that.
I don't know, man. I really love Hayden as Darth Vader, and I feel like I barely get any of him as Darth Vader. And I don't know how you feel about Kenobi, but every scene that Hayden was in, he stole the show.
Man, I see both sides where people talk about where it's slow and kind of
Yeah.
boring, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, it is, but this is also like Ben Kenobi living in the desert, you know? He's not supposed to be doing a whole terribly lot exciting. Like the fact that he got intermixed with Leia that early and everything else, you know, and he got called back into, you know, basically rescuing her.
Yeah.
I appreciated that because you know, that kind of made the connection come back to her
Searching for
in
Kenobi to
New
begin with.
Hope. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that, but I can see both sides of it. I enjoyed it. Kenobi for me was probably a 7 out of 10.
That's solid. I agree with you.
I see the downsides to it. I see what people are talking about, and
But, dude, when
The fight between him and Vader.
when he's looking at him and the mask is broken and he's telling him,
bro, you
he's
need to
like, "You
watch
didn't kill
Rebels.
him."
I'm telling you.
It's the honestly, I
You're
probably would have been able
You're
to.
gonna see so many connections.
I probably would have been able. It probably would have been easier for me to watch it if it was more 2D rather than 3D. I think that's what it is for me.
So Rebels, there's only 4 seasons. Okay.
Okay.
A lot happens in 4 seasons. One season starts out kind of slow and you're getting into it, and then it's just kind of steamrolls into a what the holy moment. Like it gets good, and again, Rebels has the absolute saddest moment, and like as everything I've seen, Rebels has the saddest moment in all of Star Wars. Like, and anybody listening can almost tell you exactly the exact moment I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot of moments in Clone Wars that make me sad, that teared up. Like, there's a lot of clone deaths, like that hurt, you know. And after watching stuff like Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Rebels, Order 66 hits different. So when you're watching, you know, Episode 3 and you hear Palpatine tell Cody execute Order 66, right? Like, after you've watched all those animated shows, like now you've got all that playing into your head, realizing just how much worse it was than what they depicted in the movie.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's just so much that goes into it. But even still, Rebels tops all of that. And I
just jump straight into Rebels then?
I mean, you can.
At
Nothing's
this point,
stopping you.
Yeah.
I would.
Maybe I will.
I would definitely recommend though. Like so, Bad Batch. There's only 3 seasons of Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But oh man, does that they did phenomenal with Bad Batch.
I watched the first season of Bad Batch. I don't remember too much. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. But
I just started season 2.
What's her name? Omega.
Yep.
Is she coming into live action? Given everything going on with the Filoni verse, I call it Filoni verse because it's his shit that matters.
Maybe it's hard to say. You gotta watch all of Bad Batch. You gotta watch all of Bad Batch before I can get into a full conversation with that one about you. Like, there's a lot that happens in the last season of Bad Batch. Like, the season 3 was the series finale.
Okay.
And so, but there's a lot that does happen. There's a lot that happens with Omega. Like, you got to watch that. Like, if her story even like remotely interested you at all, get back into watching Bad Batch. Like, seriously.
No, it definitely did because it made me think about like, is she gonna be like, is she, because she's not modified, is she? She's not a regular clone. I mean, obviously she's not because she's a female, but
you gotta watch Bad Batch. Yeah, man. So they get into all of that about Omega.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll you know what? I'll try to watch it tonight. I think. Because now I'm starting to feel like whenever I start talking about Star Wars, I go through like these little like fun patches of it. So I'll start playing the game and I'll start watching the movies and I always go back to the movies though.
And so like I still haven't. I've got Force Unleashed and Jedi Survivor. I'm playing, or not Force Unleashed. The Jedi and was it Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I haven't finished playing Fallen Order, and that's because I have other stuff preoccupying me. But I do want to play them. I did play Force Unleashed, which had Starkiller back in the day, which Starkiller.
Are you going to check out?
Oh, Starkiller, man.
Okay,
dude, if you want some good story, play the old Xbox Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, talking about Starkiller, Vader's secret apprentice.
I've heard about that,
bro.
Yeah.
No, it's not it's not canon, whatever. But Jesus, oh man, that's a good story too.
Is it so hard to make them canon?
I guess it depends on who you talk to. I guess it's what do you want to stay with as far as the Lucasverse and. But it's like if you haven't played Force Unleashed, play Force Unleashed. You're getting to some good stuff. Like they're on Xbox Live and they're cheap. They're on Game Pass for pretty cheap, I think.
I may have to check it out. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard for me to play old games. But
yeah.
Yeah.
The animation still it was Xbox. I don't think it was 360. I think it was the one afterwards. But it's pretty good. Like even the graphics are still pretty good to keep the game they're like watching the cutscenes and everything. They're good to watch.
Are you gonna play that new Star Wars game by Ubisoft?
I haven't honestly checked it out yet. The games aren't super high on my priority list. I like playing them because I've got Battlefront 2, as well, just because they're kind of fun.
Dude, Game Pass has everything Star Wars. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But it's you're not a Force user at all. You're kind of like Han Solo a little bit, but you're a female and you're messing around with a lot of the mobs and stuff, the alien mobs like the Hutts and whatever. It's like a third-person shooter type of deal, open world, different planets you could go on and use your little speeders and whatever. It's a Ubisoft game, but Star Wars.
Huh.
It looks pretty cool. Like if you want to, I feel like because I play all the Assassin's Creed games. And their scenes, their maps are breathtaking.
It took me I was really big into Assassin's Creed for a good while. It's on the PS3 and stuff. But
yeah,
I kind of they kind of fell out for me, and I kind of stuck
after Miles died.
Yeah.
Or Desmond Miles.
Yeah,
Desmond. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really captivate me much anymore. And I've tried playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
They do come back
And-
in a full circle with that, if you want to know. You know?
I got buddies that play it all the time too.
Yeah.
And, played it when it first came out and loved it. It's
Well, I mean, if you ever did jump back into one,
yeah.
I would suggest Mirage. That's the one. It's such a short little game,
Yeah.
and it's the scenery, the map, everything's beautiful, explorative, but it's really small and dense,
Yeah.
and the story's pretty straight through.
Huh.
And it's cool. I like it a lot. They don't deal with the whole the present day and in the past. You're just in the past.
Yeah.
And you're just doing the story, and it's fun, it's cool. But I've been keeping tabs on this Star Wars game for a good minute.
Yeah.
I'm not too happy that I don't get to be a Jedi in a fully open world, because you're not quite that in the other Star Wars games or the.
So if you play the MMO, the Old Republic,
Yeah.
then it's PC. I'm pretty sure it's PC only. So if you play it, most laptops can handle the basic part of it. Like if you're just
Yeah.
playing the regular part of the game, you can play different types of Jedi. You can play different parts on the light side. You can play light side people making dark side decisions. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. Like there is a storyline you follow for each like everyone's got their own story, part of their story that you follow. Like the Jedi Sentinel has a specific line that you follow. The Jedi, like a Sith Inquisitor has their own line that they follow. A Sith Assassin has their own line that they follow. A Bounty Hunter has their own line that they follow. Like they have their own separate storylines, you can make your own races and everything, or you can choose the races, design them however you want and everything too. And like it was a lot of fun. And me and a few guys played for a few years and did some pretty cool stuff that were, 3-manning like 8-man in dungeons and stuff like that. Just to see if we could. And so we were really testing our skills at the game and seeing how. Because I've still got an old Reddit post about doing stuff like that. So it was a fun game to play, but I kind of fell out of it.
They should remake it then. Like
it's still active to this day. Like it's still got online servers. Like I'm still in the Discord server for it. For the old guild that I used to play with. Like I still BS with some of those guys every now and then. Like they've seen my Star Wars tattoos and stuff like that. And my dogs, named it's Anakin and Ahsoka. Which I don't know if I told you they got. I had to get them new collars. And they got collars corresponding with the lightsaber colors for their names.
Okay.
So Anakin got a blue saber and Ahsoka got her green ones because
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you like Ahsoka's white sabers for the show?
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah. I want to call it basically like the reverse bleeding process. Like she purified those crystals.
Is that the only
They
way
were
to get
Sith
a white
crystals that were purified. To my knowledge, yes, that's the only way to do that. Like Ahsoka is very, very strong with the Force.
Sith crystals that she purified?
I believe so. I could be talking out of my ass because it does happen.
Happens with everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody talks out of their ass.
Right.
Yes.
Usually it's talking out of that because your mouth knows better.
Yeah.
But but Ahsoka is definitely one of the more powerful Force users out there.
Huh.
Like it was, and having Anakin to train her, like especially during basically Anakin Prime era, like and everything that Ahsoka went through with him, like and especially like again you get into Clone Wars, like did you get to the Mortis gods part, the Force planet?
Okay, so
The brother
in
and the
Ahsoka?
sister? No, in Clone Wars. I know you said you watched some of it.
Okay, so I never actually. Yes, I've watched it years ago.
Do you remember getting to that part?
Yes, I do remember it,
So-
but I can't tell you if I remember because people started talking about it. Or if I
No,
remember
you're good.
because I
You're good.
watched
You're
it.
good.
But yes.
So I'm just using that as just part of stuff that she's experienced, like with Anakin and everything else, like that. She is an exceptionally talented, Force individual. She's definitely amongst the stronger ones for sure. The fact that she was able to do that with the crystals.
Is that because of her alien race?
The Togruta? No, it's not. It has. It has nothing to do with her race. It just happens to do with her latent ability.
Her latent ability.
Yeah, like she's naturally force talented.
She just got it like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and everything that she's gone through, and the fact that she trained under Anakin and Obi-Wan for that matter. But and somebody like Plo Koon too, which somebody is. They showed him dying in Order 66 in Episode 3. You really get into his story in Clone Wars. Like, Plo Koon's a pretty badass Jedi. He was one of the most talented. He was actually the most talented starfighter they had before Anakin, was serving. So Plo Koon was a badass.
Everybody thought that it was going to be him that instead of Luke Skywalker that showed up at the end of Mando's season.
Oh, 2? No, it couldn't have
been.
It was Mando's season. It couldn't have been anybody else but Luke.
But they even did up a whole thing of it spawned so many theories and shit. Everybody was talking about it because John Favreau and Dave Filoni made sure that they did concept art and that they did all this crazy stuff for him, and that was actually the first time I've actually heard of that guy.
Of Plo Koon?
Yeah. That, to my memory. I may have before, but where attention was drawn on him and I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
He's not showing up. No way.
But so there's so many talented and people that Ahsoka, trained under, served with in her time in the Clone Wars and everything, to make her into the Jedi that she was.
Well, she was raised through war. I mean, that was made
basically,
very clear.
Yeah, exactly.
In her own show,
So again, Episode 5.
Yeah.
That was a callback to Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Her very, very young time. There's a Clone Wars animated movie that's like an hour and change long too. Definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. It's a good introduction for Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's a good one for you to watch. But so she's gone through a lot, and just kind of the ability that she had was just a lot more honed.
Okay,
and Clone Wars definitely goes. God, man, you really got to watch that show. I'm telling you.
What would you do if Kathleen Kennedy came to you with the script for all the episodes of The Acolyte, and she says, "Make it better."
Throw it away.
It'd be better in a dumpster, light it on fire.
When I first heard they were doing an Acolyte show, the first thing that came to mind, because again, I played the Old Republic, the online game, and when you start out as a baby Sith, you start out on Korriban, which was like the Sith homeworld and the Sith Academy and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking stuff like that when they're talking about this show, not what they turned it into.
Yep.
Again, if they want to tell the story of the Jedi and the bad guy's point of view, they have a Sith Academy on Korriban. That's where these people are trained.
It's during that point in time, right?
Well, this is the Old Republic, not High Republic era. It's a lot more. It's well before all that.
Okay.
Long time before that. Again, this is Revan time frame, Malak. That you watch the cutscenes for that game, and you're gonna see some of the best fight sequences ever. I promise you that.
Okay.
Just go on YouTube and watch, Star Wars: The Old Republic cutscenes, and you're just gonna see a lot of really, really good ones. I can think of a few off the top of my head playing through my head. And I've sent them to a buddy of mine who's ever played the game, and they're really good to watch.
Sorry, I'm gonna make a note of that.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I ain't tripping.
Wars.
The Old Republic. So the Old Republic era is different than the High Republic era. The Old Republic era, you'll actually hear, again, this is another thing that you hear of a lot in Star Wars: The Old Republic is they're still very much in the shadow of Mandalore the Great. They know, and the origin of the Darksaber and stuff like that. It's before all of that. It's before all. like the game I think was really I played the Jedi side, I played the Sith side, I played the Sith side way more because in my opinion it was way more fun. I just have a lot of fun playing dark side characters.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get to be a fucking bad guy. Like,
It's just like I've always like one of my favorite alignments. When I played D&D back in the day was playing chaotic neutral.
Okay. Yeah.
Because everyone is like, oh yeah, chaotic evil. You can just do the most evil things and this that and the other. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But then there's chaotic neutral. We're just basically Deadpool.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
chaotic. That's how I
have you seen the
describe-
third movie?
I have not yet. It's on my list of things to do, but I've also like last weekend I skipped the farmer's market because my back wasn't too happy, and like it was like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday my back was not playing last week, and so but like I will see it. It's just I don't really get out to a whole lot of theaters anymore.
Yeah. No. Honestly, the theater scene kind of sucks now.
I've heard though that Deadpool 3 was phenomenal.
It's great.
So
It's great.
like
it's ridiculously great. It's without spoilers, it's very like in your face total awesomeness, doesn't skip a beat. If you don't like it, I guess you're a loser. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
See, I also really liked so when Deadpool 2 came out, they also did Once Upon a Deadpool, which was the PG-13 version.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, funny.
And with the Princess Bride, and because of
Yes.
how much I love Princess Bride,
Yes.
like I actually really love Once Upon a Deadpool. Like I love the PG version more than the regular version of Deadpool 2. Like
Well,
I will watch
Yeah.
I've watched them all. I don't know how many times, but I will watch Once Upon a Deadpool over Deadpool 2, and I also own the super duper unrated cut version of the Deadpool 2 too. So
there's a super duper unrated cut.
What? It's got extra scenes and
Okay.
yeah. But it's Once Upon a Deadpool 2 for me. Like I don't know. It's because it was PG-13. And they know it's PG-13, and Deadpool trying to be PG-13, and it's
And meanwhile, he's kidnapped a whole ass
Fred Savage, yeah.
And what do you do? Tape him to the bed? Yeah,
I actually have a full-size Deadpool mask.
that's awesome.
I wore it back during COVID. I lived in Washington. I would drive around and
in
like,
a Deadpool mask.
oh yeah, I'd stop with stoplights and look at people in my Deadpool mask, and some people would freak out. Some people think it was neater than shit. And, oh yeah, it was fun times.
That's funny. I plan on getting helmets and masks and stuff over
Yeah,
time.
I just picked, like I told you, I just built the Lego Slave 1, and the other day I built the X-Wing mech because I have the other 3, and this one just came out. And I really want the new Imperial Cruiser, or the Imperial Star Destroyer, because it's got the Cal Kestis minifigure, so from Fallen Order and stuff. Or from Jedi Survivor.
There's a lot of hype around Cal showing up in live action. What do you think about that?
Depends on how if they do again. It depends on how it's done.
Apparently, Dave Filoni really wants him. I think if anything Dave Filoni's attached to, fuck it, let him be Dave Filoni.
If Dave Filoni's gonna be behind it, I'm down.
Yeah,
like 100%. Like, and so if you go back and look at, a lot of the interviews that Filoni did, or that they did with Lucas too at the same time.
Yeah.
Like George Lucas had everything to do with the writing and production of Clone Wars.
Oh yeah. They were like collaborating on every aspect of everything for that.
And so everything that Dave Filoni is involved in nowadays, he has that with keeping to what Star Wars is supposed to be about, and that's not somebody's supposed to play a specific role, this, that, and the other. No, it's keeping to what the original. It's keeping to.
It's like they're playing the role of two. George Lucas and Dave Filoni. It's like they're sticking to each other's guns, and it's either one or the other that's going to do any justice to. It's kind of funny.
I would love to see Lucas take it back, but all in all, I wish Filoni would just keep it in general. Like
Filoni should.
Filoni needs to be the only. Filoni and Jon Favreau need. They just need those two. Those two together are phenomenal in what they do for Star Wars, in my opinion.
What do you think about Taika Waititi taking on a Star Wars movie? Because apparently that's back on. It was
For
on,
Boba
then it was
Fett?
off, then it was on. No. Taika Waititi is the one that did Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
And Love and Thunder. Yeah. But he also did Jojo Rabbit. Have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
He was also in Free Guy too, and I really, really enjoyed Free Guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah.
the problem, so like with Love and Thunder, there was too much. They tried to make it funny.
The kids loved it though. But
Right,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
entertainment factor for the kids, but to me that was everything they've done with Marvel so far has been garbage, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
honestly, since we're getting into this Marvel thing really quick, the fact that they just came out with Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
they're trying to bring back everybody that they lost with the amount of garbage that they did post Endgame. So, in my opinion, they're doing it as a money grab, and they're going to spin off in the multiverse somehow, because there is an alternate timeline where Tony Stark did kind of become Doctor Doom, but that's because they traded brains and everything. And so, yes, is that what they're going to do? I could see it being done, but again, to me, that's a money grab.
I can see it being done in a really cool, interesting way that's not just brain swapping.
I mean,
But,
there's a lot of ways it could be done.
There's so many.
They could do it to
Yeah.
where he's still playing Victor Von Doom and he actually doesn't actually show his face, which would be fantastic, and we just get good Robert Downey Jr. acting.
I 110% don't believe that would happen because
No, not at all.
they brought Robert Downey Jr. back.
It's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, they're not gonna make him not show his face.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
like telling Johnny Depp you're not going to see his face in Pirates of the Caribbean.
No,
Yeah,
never,
it's not
never
gonna
gonna fucking happen. Never. Okay.
Like I said, it's a money grab in my
It
opinion.
is,
And they're trying
but
to bring
you know
their-
something that pisses me off, like actually, like makes me kind of angry, is when people start talking about how what's the difference between this and bringing back Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man for Spider-Man 3. And the thing is, because people are saying it's a money grab for Robert Downey Jr. to come back. That's what everybody's saying. So you get the other side.
But
of
they
people,
also put Andrew Garfield, and
yeah, exactly.
most people, if you poll people on the live action Spider-Man, so between Tobey Maguire, Andrew, why am I forgetting his last?
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield,
Yeah.
and Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
You poll those three, everybody says Tobey's a go.
Yes.
Or most people say Toby's a goat, and you know what? Because he is.
Yes,
he's
the OG. He's
Right.
You know, and the thing is, he's coming back to play his role,
Right,
His
he-
version of Peter Parker.
Right.
He's not Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man coming back to play Doctor Doom.
right.
It's not the same.
Andrew Garfield Andrew Garfield caught a lot of hate for his version of Spider-Man, which I can kind of see why he was definitely more on the emo
They
kid
should
side
have
of
let him
things.
cook. They should have let him breathe.
But yeah, I mean that's fair. That's true. They should have gave the kid a lot more room.
Yeah.
I did appreciate a lot of how they actually made, like, for instance, when they made him fight Lizard Man, right?
Yeah.
Like they made him move like a spider when he wrapped him up. I'm like, dude, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
We're talking. You
fucking
want to talk
awesome.
different stuff like that too. Like that's one of the things I appreciated about the Eric Bana Hulk, right?
Okay.
So that movie was way too long. They definitely drugged that one out. But one thing I did appreciate that they did with that movie was, so like the angrier Hulk got, the bigger he got, the stronger
Yeah.
he got.
Yeah.
I also appreciated the comic book panel transitions.
Yes.
I thought they did a pretty decent job with that for the time frame for that movie.
That was definitely a style. Yes. That was
like for the movie, for what they did, I was like, okay, I like that.
They're
part
thinking
of it.
outside the box. They're trying
Right.
to make something cool and be creative
Right.
and just make it incredible, like the Hulk. That's completely understandable. To me, that was the Hulk for the longest fucking time.
That was, to me, I think they definitely tried to put a bigger spin from the Hulk show.
Oh yeah, they're trying to make it different.
I think that's
yes.
what they tried to. They used that and they just tried to make it into a movie.
And
style.
you know what? I'd call it a success. I think they did a pretty damn good job
I-
for what they had at the time, as early like the CGI and stuff and everything. I mean, come on, they're going bigger and bigger every fucking as the more you watch the
Oh, yeah.
movie, the bigger the Hulk got.
But
And
again, that movie was so long. It did not need to be that long.
the,
Now the Edward Norton one
Yeah.
wasn't.
yeah,
That Edward Norton, I understand. I know they had a hard time with him and working with him, and he was a pain in the rear.
honestly,
But I feel like
I
I find myself watching that Hulk more than the others. Anything else.
I say they should have let him cook too. because some of the ideas that he had about getting into the mindset of Bruce Banner and fighting with the Hulk, like the things that he was talking about that he wanted to tackle for the movie, it's like, yeah, actually, why couldn't we see that?
I will say we're gonna go back a little bit further to the Blade movies, because I remember when Blade came out in Blade 2 and Blade 3.
Dude,
like
there's so many
with the
things I want to tell you.
I've already seen bits and pieces from people and reels on Facebook, so I know there's an appearance. I know there's a lot of shit talking between Blade and Deadpool. Like, I want to see the movie. I've seen little bits. Like, excuse me. Am I worried about the little bit of spoilers that I've seen? Like, no, whatever. Like, I'll still get the entire movie at some point.
Yeah.
I know there's an appearance there. I know the Elektra part, like, and talking shit. Like, I know the fact that Blade comes in and that's...
Man.
But I loved Blade, the movies when they first came out.
Okay.
Now, when you're looking at Blade Trinity was about when Ryan Reynolds was starting the talks for Deadpool. He was really starting getting into it.
Yeah.
And then, sure, a couple years later, they came out with that abomination that was Wolverine Origins.
Hey, that was all we had.
And I understand that was all we had, but it was doo.
Yes.
You cannot take the mouth away from the merc with the mouth. I'm sorry, that's just not how. And sorry, if he had Cyclops eyes, he would have been a lot more.
I feel like at the time.
No.
At the time, he wasn't mouthy enough for him to be the merc with the mouth. I don't think they did him justice from the get-go. You got the elevator scene in that movie. You got him talking his little bit of shit when they're in the helicopter on the way to that elevator scene.
I understand it's the Wolverine origin story too, but then you have to keep like Deadpool was created he was Weapon 11 for a reason. Like he was. And you know what? Yes, they did deviate away from that as from the Deadpool movies.
They took Wade Wilson's mouth, not Deadpool's mouth.
But I was. Man, Ryan Reynolds, I love the comedy that they put behind it.
Yeah.
And again, I had, when Deadpool's first appearance, I had, all that stuff back in the day, and it's one of those comic books I lost, and super sad. But, I love him. He's my all-time favorite Marvel character. He really is. When I saw the original Deadpool movie that came out, I saw it with my best friend at the time, and a lot of the lines that were said in the first movie, like the jigsaw piece, the jigsaw line with the puzzle piece, I said that to my ex a few years before that movie came out.
Oh, so you related a lot to it, there was a lot.
If I get off on a tangent and and I'm not even paying attention, I have to catch myself, but I get told a lot of times to hide my Wadeisms because I speak with the same type of sarcasm. I speak with the same type of analogies or the same type of wow. You just said what?
Yeah.
It happens. People that have known me quite some time and they're used to how I talk, they're like, okay, yeah, no, you kind of got to comment a little bit.
Yeah, you're gonna really love the third one.
I've heard so many good things.
Much.
My buddy and his wife just saw it today. He was like, dude, you're gonna love it.
I'm trying to find a way to get back to go see it again before it's out of theater.
If you do, let me know.
Yeah, it's just.
I may tag along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get if I can find the day. It's just.
No, I get you. I get you.
Kids and work and.
No,
life.
I get you because I still have to plan around for the 4 dogs.
Yeah.
I don't like leaving the 4 dogs too terribly long, and I do it. Anakin gives me a very stern talking to. He is vocal when I get home from the farmer's market.
Where have you been?
Oh,
sir?
yeah.
Where?
He's just going to town. And oh, yeah. He lets me know that I was gone too long.
Are you able to bring him? Bring him? Maybe he'd
to
like
the market?
Yeah.
No. They have a thing against bringing dogs to
Dude, everybody brings their dogs. I see it
vendors
everywhere.
Aren't supposed to. Tried in the past. Because I tried bringing.
What about the guy who plays guitar in the center of everything? Isn't that his dog? Yapping at everybody else's dogs.
I just, I'm not trying to. I deal with enough of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I don't know. I get that way sometimes because I see some things that I just find complete.
Oh, I've made a big think about a lot of things. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm not super high on the like list, but I am at the same time.
Yeah.
It bothers some people.
Yeah.
Because apparently, like last week, I wasn't there, and I heard from a few people Dude, whoa. There wasn't as many people. It was a lot more quiet. Like, what was going on? Like, and that's I'm like, look, I'm sorry. Like, I couldn't. Like, my back was too bad. Like, I could.
That's crazy because that weekend my wife didn't. That was the weekend that we
Yeah.
went to go watch Deadpool.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she wasn't there either, and we kind of heard this like some similar stuff too about that. So I don't know, man. No,
Like, I'm a very. I get it. I'm a very loud, boisterous person. Like, that's just how I am. You go to the farmer's market, you'll hear me from completely on the opposite side of it.
yeah. Whenever I see you, you're always just
Like-
talking to everybody.
Today, for instance, like, wife will tell you, like, I
Yeah.
was freaking dragging till somebody was able to go get me some caffeine, and I'm like, I can person. And Kelly, who's diagonal from me, she's got the baked goods, and her husband does the wood carving.
Okay.
Her English muffins are really good. Like, I use them for breakfast burgers. She makes these little cinnamon stars, which are really freaking amazing. Oh man, yeah, they're like better than any cinnamon roll you've ever had in your life, man. I swear. I get one almost every weekend. That
This
I'm there.
episode is totally not brought to you by the Socorro Farmers Market, by the way.
No, but I'll tell you what though, you want some good snackage? Like,
Yeah.
yep. Like today, she also had a blueberry lemon scone that just, it was nice and moist, and it tickled every part of my inner and outer fat kid and made me very happy.
Hell yeah! No, that sounds
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Shit.
like,
Shit.
like no, no, man, I get some of that stuff every week because it's yet I'm there usually. Like, it's just good, and she's got like these she uses brown butter to make cookies, and oh my jeez, yeah.
Man, she sounds like she's Walter White in the kitchen as far as bakery.
Oh, she's
Baking
really.
goes.
I tell you what, she's really good. Like I said, those cinnamon star things are delicious. That blueberry lemon scone thing I had, phenomenal. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like, that was a good breakfast.
Man, I'm trying to on the next the next Saturday, the Saturday coming up now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going out there passing around flyers.
Okay.
So it will actually be this Saturday when everybody hears this episode. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to be at the farmers market passing around flyers because we have a little music festival, Escondida Socorro City Limits Music Festival. October 26th on Saturday, and it's Life at Night presents this type of deal. Okay, so I'm planning it all with Ian Troy, and we have a whole list of artists. We got Rob Lopez, we got TD Dub going out there, and Joe Love. We got a bunch of people who have been on the podcast, who are musicians, or people who will be on the podcast soon, going out there jamming out. And I'm trying to get vendors that do food to go out there and not pay any fee. You go out there, set up, sell your food.
You could probably get a few of them folks there. I don't see why you couldn't.
They don't have to pay a fee to be there.
Yeah.
Go there,
Well,
set
so
up
they're
shop.
also like the Kelly guy with the food, the breakfast I was telling you about. They come from Daddle for the farmers market and stuff. So I know they stay pretty busy with that, and that's kind of a hoof. But there's definitely other vendors there that I don't think would mind at all.
Yeah. No, I plan on reaching out to just any. Really, the goal, like, I want to get like at least 5 of them. Yeah. Because I got another guy that's going out there for some food, but really, I'm just trying to get the ones that do food.
Yeah.
Just because food, music, and just everybody coming
when you
together.
have food too, you don't want to have too many because then you have a bunch of competition. Like, you want to get a 2 to 3.
So I
probably,
imagine out of because of 5 slots, I imagine 2 of them will show up.
Yeah.
That's because
really 2 to 3 at most is all you want.
Yeah.
Like, because that's because you're not like, sure, it may not cost anything as far as a fee wise, but each one of those is prepping however much, and they're not sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
maybe I should try to make it a little more exclusive then. Huh?
Logically, 2 to 3, and 3 probably at most is pushing it.
Yeah, because I don't know how many people are going to be going out there, but I got until October with promotion,
right?
And I'm going to have flyers and stuff. So
however many food vendors you invite could depend on how many. Like, say if you're getting a head count, Yeah. You can better anticipate as time gets closer how much you're going to need.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody who's going, like as a vendor or a musician or something. Spread the word like crazy. I'm gonna make an ad for this. It might not be on this because I feel like I've already advertised enough already on this episode. But
My
future
bad.
episodes, no, no.
Hey, like people today talking to me about food and all kinds of stuff. Like, so today I had some Parmesan and some mozzarella together, and when I make Alfredo,
Yeah,
I use smoked Parmesan, smoked mozzarella, and smoked Parmesan. I use smoked cream cheese, smoked mozzarella, and smoked Parmesan when I make my sauce.
all your cheeses
Okay.
are smoked, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And well, like when I make my smoked mac and cheese, like my cheese sauce, I use it's like that garlic and herb cheese that I just gave you today.
Yeah.
I used that. So when I started making my roux, I used a garlic butter to start my roux, and then as I was making my cheese sauce, it was the smoked cream cheese. It was that garlic and herb cheddar smoked, and then it was a Munster and mozzarella into the cheese sauce too, right? And so that went into my all of that was smoked into my mac and cheese. And then after I made my garlic butter breadcrumb topping and put that on top, I turned around and smoked that. Why? Because I like smoking food.
Does food that's not smoked taste weird to you now?
No, I eat it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like today, I had nachos from Victor's. Like I had those for dinner before I came over here. I love those dang things.
Who's Victor's?
Las Victor's?
Oh, over
Yeah.
here. Okay.
They're nachos?
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah?
Yes.
Really? I have not had the best experience from them.
I haven't.
yet.
And the only thing I've had that might even be close to considered bad, and that's just because my tum tum doesn't like to play sometimes,
Yeah.
is the carne asada fries, which are really good in my opinion. I love them, but my tummy is not happy afterwards. And that's just because I have some digestive issues, and that's one of those things where I only get once in a while because I know it's not going to be very pleasant, but dang are they good.
I don't know. I don't know.
Now I tell you what, though,
it is.
you need to have that
yeah.
RJ's chicken if you haven't yet.
I have had RJ's.
That place is
chicken.
delicious.
Yes. They are
Simple. Like you got the
simple,
strips
yes.
or you got the nuggets, and then them seasoned fries. Bruh.
Yes.
I love those fries are good.
They are decent. They are good. Yes.
Hey, you know what?
Huh.
Like, take a dab. Freaking, I was like, yep, we're gonna get some fried chicken. And those fries, they hit really good with their original sauce and just that chicken engine. Yeah, buddy.
The sauce is delicious. They're hot. They're RJ's. They're a hot
Yeah.
sauce. No, that is absolutely delicious. I do love that stuff very much. I just smother all the fries in that. Yeah, but yeah, no, they're cool. They're cool. They're good. They're good. I don't have anything to really
bad to say about them, really.
Yeah. I'm not a huge chicken guy. Like
I'm not either.
Like chicken from anywhere, from like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like I prefer to cook my own chicken because taking.
Now, see, I got a really good. I think I told you about this before. The last time I was just here BSing. Is that that Malibu chicken that I make? You take some.
Oh
I think
yeah.
I told you about
Okay,
it. So you take
yeah.
some chicken breasts,
Uh-huh.
right? Just some thawed chicken breasts. Take a paring knife, put a couple cuts in your chicken breasts, and then soak them in a mixture of pineapple and coconut Malibu. Why Malibu? Because it's cheap and disposable, in my opinion. It doesn't taste very good when you're drinking it, but it gives you a really good flavor. So you soak those chicken breasts for 4 to 6 hours. Anything really longer, you're getting too much into breaking down the meat and everything else, and it kind of throws off your texture
Yeah.
of the chicken. So, and then you grill those chicken breasts. Don't even need to season them. You grill those chicken breasts as is, obviously, until they're done. And then you top the chicken breasts with some grilled pineapple, some fresh grilled pineapple, and a little bit of toasted coconut with jasmine rice. Now you've got a very nice, refreshing chicken dish with a sweet pairing with that jasmine rice to go along with it. And it's just a really good summer dish.
Huh. Yeah, actually, that does sound pretty refreshing. Probably have some lemonade with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like limeade personally over, I like a good lemonade, but I really like a good limeade.
Have you had what is it? The Brazilian lemonade, but they use limes or something like that.
I don't think so.
So you get the entire I think it's the limes. I think that's what they use. So you get the entire thing of lime,
Yeah.
or just whole limes. You cut them in half, but rind and all,
Yeah.
whatever, and you blend it, and you put it's like you put the sugar, and I think they have like some milk in it or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they make it, but it's Brazilian lemonade. But it's like they use limes though, and then they strain it, and then you just pour it over ice, and it's delicious. It's crazy delicious.
That sounds good.
Yeah, no,
Like I would definitely try it.
It's crazy. Oh, man, I can't remember how they make it. I've made it too, like because I became very like I need this at home,
Right.
I need
it's
to
one of
figure
those
this
hyper
out.
fixations you
Yeah.
gotta have for a little while.
Yeah, and
until
I
that
just-
craving is gone.
And then I just didn't make it ever again. But like I remember it was pretty successful. But that's the whole reason why I bought my Ninja blender. Because my blender at the time just could not handle chopping up
Yeah.
a lime. Like I had like a cheap blender, so I went and got a Ninja, and I had it like once or twice, and then after that it was done. I was over it.
Yeah.
But, no, but it's I'll have to find the recipe and I'll send it to you, and maybe you could try it out and see what you think. But it's really refreshing. That's a refreshing drink. I had it at this Brazilian restaurant for the first time up in Albuquerque, like where they bring you your food and they like give you bits of meat they just slide it onto your plate. You eat that, and they come back around and bring more. It was really weird, but the lemonade was like the best thing about it. Like it was the only thing that I really cared about.
There was I don't remember this place. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a speakeasy that we had gone to up in Albuquerque. So one of those where you kind of got to have like the password to get in and stuff, and you make the
Okay.
reservation. It's really cool ambiance to sit in.
Yeah.
And so they had a 28-day dry aged ribeye, which told me I need to learn how to dry age because that was a whole new level of delicious. But then they also had it was a smoked bourbon, I think it was, that we had.
Okay.
And so they take it's a smoking kit. It's basically like a cork topper with some wood and everything, and you light it with a butane torch, and it infuses your drink with the smoke.
Yes.
So now you can also do that with so when I cold smoke cheese right now, I use an ice tray because it's hotter than hell outside.
Yeah.
And so in order to prevent it from melting, I keep an ice tray in there. So when the smoke passes by, it keeps the ambient temperature down so it prevents the cheese from melting.
Yes.
That's how you get away with it in the summer. That's why I'm able to do it 24/7.
I was wondering how you were still doing it too.
Carefully.
Because I'm pretty sure you told me before, but I was thinking like, man, he's really risking it out here in this heat. Like it's just, and the heat has been
It
hot.
has been pretty warm.
It's been crazy.
And it's not even so much the heat, it's been the heat and the humidity.
Dude.
Like, I can handle the dry heat, no problem.
Yeah.
And I've been in humid places like Guam, South Carolina, Hawaii, Virginia, Washington is humid too, just doesn't know nowhere near the heat usually. But I'm like, Guam, you step outside after taking a shower in the morning and it's already 100 degrees and 2,000% humidity outside, and you're just like, I think it's gross.
Yeah, you're
And
just wet. No, but it's been disgusting lately. Like mosquitoes everywhere and everything.
Dude,
just
I look like a
wet
war zone, man. I've
Yeah.
been everywhere. Like my forehead looks like I got a knot on it from getting beat up, but
They
I
are
didn't.
in the store at
Yeah.
night when I'm working, and we're all getting tore the fuck up. Like I've been irritated for like a week straight, just irritation, just because mosquitoes. It's been crazy. And then
I try wearing pants. Like I tried wearing pants the other day, and like during the summer, I do not wear pants. I wear shorts all the time. It was 102 degrees outside, and I'm freaking wearing some of my heavier pants that I usually wear in the winter when it's cold.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you with pants on.
That could be taken in a couple different ways. But no, in the winter markets I was.
Okay.
The winter markets I was, just because it's cold, but I'm wearing my heavier pants usually because, again, it keeps me warm. Like, I don't like being cold.
Yeah.
But I also don't like wearing pants in 102 degree weather when it's 50-something% humidity outside, and it did nothing but turn my legs into Shrek's swamp. Like,
Yep.
it was bad. And I'm like, nope. And it didn't bother helping the mosquitoes at all. It made it worse. because they've got their own little environments in my pant legs. I'm like, no, we're not
Setting
doing
up
this.
a little fucking
Biohazard? Yeah, I gotta. Man, no. I'm not wearing pants in that. What? No. There's a reason why I wear shorts, and I will continue to wear shorts. At least until it cools down.
Yeah, no, man. Shorts all through the fucking.
I'll deal with
too.
the mosquitoes.
No, the mosquitoes fucking suck. It's been insane. Hey, I've been trying to come up with a cool, interesting, because I like these little side podcasts like this, because this isn't going to be Life at Night episode, blah blah blah, how I do it, but I really wanted to take like a Star Wars approach to it, but I don't want to be like every other podcast to be like like the Life at Night Cantina or whatever the fuck, you know, some stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know? So
here's something kind of funny actually.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna end up telling my buddy about this too, because I've brought him up a few times. So he got me to play Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
I was big in all the Final Fantasy games up until 10 and like 10-2. Like those were the last ones that I played. 14's got a lot of good callbacks for me, and I love playing the game. I've sent you some of the screenshots from my characters and stuff. But our free company guild, whatever you want to call it, free company is the guild name, and what guilds are called in Final Fantasy. It's from Rebels. Our free company name is called Phoenix Squadron.
Okay.
And it's in Rebels, or the Phoenix Squadron, right?
Yeah.
And so, and like we have like our ranks in there from our different our part of the Phoenix Squadron stuff, you know. And it's a Star Wars themed little freaking thing in Final Fantasy, and just because. And like I you know, my dogs, you know, I got Anakin and Ahsoka in there. My buddy, his cat's got a cat named Leia and stuff. Like I posted my Legos and stuff in there. Like we're all some type of nerd in there, but it's definitely Star Wars themed to us because it's just a common thing that we like.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I need to have something kind of like that, something unique to myself, because I don't know. I was just thinking of so many names. I have a few written down, but like I haven't even called it anything yet, and I've already released one. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Send them to me. Well, like I don't know what they're off the top of my obviously right now, but send them to me. I'll take a look at them, see if I'll give you some input, see if I like or not.
Okay.
Or what I do or don't.
Yeah, I'll definitely, because like that whole cantina thing. Because I like the idea of like a pub or something, you know, like some kind of like get that kind of feel where it's like you get together at a table, you have some drinks, and you're just talking. Like I like that kind of vibe for it, and that's kind of what I'm going for this type of stuff. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Whatever. We'll see. I still want to bring this up to you because I brought it up earlier. But do you really think that Hayden Christensen couldn't do a Star Wars, Darth Vader series?
It's not that he couldn't, because I think like if they were to bring him back to do like the Rise and Fall of Vader, like it's a book the book that I just got. It's one of the books I just got. I haven't started it yet. But it's from the time that he's, you know, from the time he transitioned from Anakin into Vader.
Yeah.
And basically until, you know, up until Luke stops him and turns him back good, I believe it encompasses that entire frame. Again, I don't know it for sure yet. It's called The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader. But could they do something like that where they're going through the entire time in between? Like, in between episode 3 and 4? Like, absolutely they could do something like that. Do I want them to? Like, the fan service side says yes, because, again, it's Hayden Christensen. Like,
and we only get him just a little bit.
Exactly. He would be fantastic at doing it. He really, really would. But for me, that's one of those, like, don't fix what isn't broke.
Yeah.
We're now, like, so as far as the animated series goes, like, Clone Wars is done and over with. Rebels is done and over with. Bad Batch was the last animated show that came out during this for this Clone Wars style, or this Clone Wars era of stuff.
Yeah.
Everything basically before episode 4. And Bad Batch is done and over with, you know? Like, that whole era is basically drawn to an end now. in Ahsoka, that's set after Rebels, and so and Rebels is set after Order 66 and everything else, and
I mean, shit, it's set after Mandalorian now. It's the latest after.
No. As far as time frame,
It's after Mandalorian season 2.
oh yeah.
Definitely, probably during season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're post all of that anymore. So anything now that they're going to try to do in the Skywalker, like even doing Obi-Wan season 2, right? We're still getting into that little bit. Like, can they do the callbacks and stuff with them here and their guest appearances? You know what?
Yeah.
I am 100% totally okay with that because again, he's not supposed to be.
You know what? I just want a standalone Vader where he's trying to bring Padme back, and he really discovers that he can't do it.
Get into the comics.
See, and that's
It's Marvel Unlimited, I think it is, and I think it's got the Star Wars comic books that you can get, and it's like $10 or something every month, and you can read as much as you want. Buddy of mine has it. It's not one of those things I want to pay for right now. It's worth it, absolutely. It's just not one of those.
Yeah, you get like everything, right? Yeah.
But get into the Star Wars comics because and there's stuff that talks about how he gets into really, like, he doesn't fully accept that Padme's dead, and he still tries to go through and find ways to bring her back and everything. And there is part of the other reason why I don't like this whole bleeding passive bullshit that they did in the Acolyte with the Kyber crystal, like Darth Vader, where you go through and you see what he went through to turn this Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
He's the chosen one, and at this point he is the embodiment of everything dark side. He doesn't
just turn it like nothing.
Not without thinking about it. No. Like oh,
it makes me really it really shows. Actually, no. This shows you how Disney Star Wars has become with the Acolyte. How shit just happens. It's the same thing with Marvel. Like, how shit just happens. Things just are.
You know, the only
they
Marvel,
just do it.
I've watched all the Marvel shows.
Marvel gets away with it because it's Marvel. You know.
Not with me. I'll tell you anyways. Not with me anyways. Like, I'll tell you that straight up. Like, the only thing that I've watched in Marvel that has any form of rewatchability after Endgame right now has been Loki. And I'm not even really big into the Loki story. It's just Tom Hiddleston's great. He's a funny actor.
Dude, he's awesome.
And like, I use the GIF as a response. Very sad. Yes. Anyway, blah blah blah. Like, I use that GIF very frequently with people. Like, I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. That had potential, but it didn't. They tried too hard. WandaVision was a kind of why.
Really? You didn't like WandaVision?
No,
huh.
Not really.
I loved that one. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I understand that. That fell short for me. But WandaVision was just...
I didn't really like... I watched the Hawkeye show, and I liked watching it as it came out.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any rewatchability for it for me.
That's a lot of it for a lot of the shows, I feel.
Like, there's just no rewatchability.
Yeah. Like, I find it kind of hard to go back. The only ones I really find myself thinking about watching, well, these days is probably, like, I've been, only because the new Captain America trailer for Captain America 4, that one got me pretty hyped. I've seen
splashes of it, and I'm not sure what to think about. Like, again, I don't know what...
I'm excited for that one. I have my reasons, because there's things about it that I really want to see unfold.
I want to see how they're going to do Red Hulk. I really want to see how they're going to do that, and I know it's Harrison Ford. I
saw that he changes in front of, because he's president, because Harrison Ford took over for the other guy, and so he's General Ross, President Ross, and he's
General Ross is, like, and if you look into General Ross is Red Hulk.
Yeah, and but he's president at the time of the movie, Captain America 4.
Oh yeah,
and he goes to do his whatever, he's talking in front of press or whatever, and then he ends up turning into Red Hulk and destroying a lot of shit in front of everybody. So that to me is very interesting. But also Tiamat from Eternals or whatever his name is, the fucking giant motherfucker that came out.
I
of
know
the ocean.
they're finally tying that in.
But apparently he's made completely out of adamantium, and global governments are fighting over that.
Yeah,
that's interesting as fuck to me. It's so far away from the comics where adamantium comes from.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's very interesting.
I know Marvel's basically taking everything. They're stretching that multiverse thing to the limit as much as they can. Which is where they're coming from with the Doctor Doom thing.
It's gonna wrap up in like 4 years. It's gonna wrap up, and they're gonna be done with it, and then they're gonna move on. Guaranteed by Secret Wars. Because it's Secret Wars. It's gonna be a complete reboot. We're going to have a brand new Iron Man, brand new Captain America. It's going to be brand new everything. They're going to be able to cherry pick exactly what they want. It's going to be a whole brand new sacred timeline. And the mutants are already going to have been there. And it's going to be a whole new era. And you and I are going to be completely washed out of everything. And the kids these days are going to know everything, all there is to know. And it's going to be for them.
Back in my day.
Yep. So we're gonna be finished.
You should, if you haven't watched it yet, X-Men '97.
Yes.
Holy
dude,
God!
I still have to watch the last two episodes, I think. Yeah, I know. I know.
Dude, but okay,
tell me this though, just for because I don't mind because it is what it is. But do they actually kill Gambit? Is he actually dead?
I cried.
They don't bring him back?
They can't.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Right.
Gambit. Yeah. You're okay.
Yeah, that hurt.
Gambit took a hero's death.
Yeah, that hurt.
Gambit took a hero's death. I fucking cried, bro.
Yeah. No, life hit me out of nowhere, and suddenly I'm sitting here in front of you doing a podcast, and I'm realizing I only have 2 episodes I still got to finish. I'm like,
dude,
fuck, you know,
dude, I think the last 2 episodes. Oh my God.
It might be 1 episode.
The very last episode had my jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Like,
are they gonna do more?
They very well fucking better.
Because the guy, the showrunner, or the creator of that show specifically, got fired because his OnlyFans got leaked.
Oh, Jesus. Whatever.
It's like Disney. Why the fuck do you care? Let the man cook. Let him do his shit.
If he's gonna make a buck, let him make a buck.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Like,
no shit.
Fuck, man. Just let him. No, that bothered me so much because he has an OnlyFans. Well, it wasn't that his OnlyFans got leaked. The information about him having an OnlyFans got leaked.
And that's whatever. They very well better. Because, like, the last episode is a jaw dropper and a half. Like, like, I was very audibly yelling, "What the fuck?" watching it at my house. Like,
they did so good. I like the redesigns of the characters too.
They made Cyclops fucking cook.
Oh, yeah? Did they?
Yeah. You watched it in the first episode. In the first episode, home dude leaping out of the. Dude,
right. I got a lot to watch.
It was in the very first episode.
Dude, my memory is shot to shit. Like,
that's why I smoke a lot of weed and eat lion's mane.
I am so. You know
lion's mane's really good for your memory. Plug it on the mushroom thing there for a second. Start taking lion's mane stuff. There's some folks at the farmers market. I actually get their tinctures.
Okay.
But lion's mane really, really good for your memory and brain. Start taking it. It helps over time.
Okay, I will.
I'll just
start. I will. Yes.
Watch X-Men '97 again, dude. The very first episode, Cyclops was like I'm not even a huge Cyclops fan. Like, I was always big into Wolverine. Like, as far as X-Men go, Wolverine was my favorite.
I blame the Fox X-Men universe for doing that to us because Cyclops was like, he was dope as fuck, and then
even watching the original X-Men, because again, like, that was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. I was always Wolverine and Beast and Colossus too, because I liked the Wolverine Colossus fastball combo. Where Colossus picks up Wolverine and freaking chucks him. Like, it was one of my favorite things to watch because they did it a few times back in the original X-Men cartoon show. And, that's how they take down some of the Sentinels and everything, too.
Yeah.
Because that's just what...
Dude, the way Wolverine... Never mind. I'm just going to... Just the way he fights. You're gonna love it. You're gonna fucking love it. You're like, God, I wish you just. As soon as you do see it, tell me. Because I need someone to talk to about this shit. Because
I will.
Oh, it's such a fucking good movie. You see all these the older movies, and like the way he fights in the comic books, and the way he even fights in the animated shows. It's like, and then you see him fight in the movies, and honestly, it's because he's a 6'2" like tall ass dude. Of course, he's not gonna fight the way Wolverine fights. You know?
No, because Wolverine's 5'0" nothing.
Yeah.
That man's knee high to a grasshopper's ass on a good day. But damn, is he a violent one?
Oh, dude. The fighting is so fucking beautiful. There's a money shot. You know, there's just so fun. It's so good. So fucking good.
I mean, I thought they did really good with the Cable and Deadpool fights too, in Deadpool 2.
Oh, dude.
Like,
the Colossus
and
Juggernaut?
Yeah. Big CGI fight.
Oh, my God. Dude. I lost my shit when I saw Juggernaut for the first time, like the actual Juggernaut, like the real Juggernaut, dude. I almost crapped myself.
They did him pretty good justice.
It's Ryan Reynolds playing him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. And
so if you want, there's also getting into some side stories on X-Men too.
Yeah.
There's a part where Colossus actually becomes Juggernaut.
Colossus becomes Juggernaut. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, no, that sounds familiar. He puts on the helmet, right?
He takes on the role for
yeah.
But dude, you want to talk about an unstoppable force, like the Juggernaut's already like. They downplayed the Juggernaut a lot back in the X-Men movies when he first came out.
Yeah.
And the Ryan Reynolds one, like when they did in Deadpool 2,
did
a lot more fan service as far as like how he speaks, how he fights, everything else. Like that was a lot. They did a lot more.
It's probably the most accurate you're going to get for a long time.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to see again, you want to read something really cool on a side comic storyline, looking to Juggernaut looking to Colossus becoming the Juggernaut, and it's another really cool story.
Isn't it originally Xavier, Magneto, and Juggernaut? Aren't they originally the big three? Like they all got their powers at the same time, and it was the three of them. Like, isn't the Juggernaut like a half brother to Charles Xavier?
Yeah, no, he is, because that's another reason why he's got that particular helmet.
Because he's got his helmet, Magneto has his helmet, and then
they're made out of different things. I'm 99% sure, but they do the same purpose.
Speaking of helmets, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but apparently, the director for The Acolyte said that the helmet that Kamir is wearing is what leads Kylo Ren to using the helmet that he has, and why the helmet was like so important or whatever. It's something that Siths do with their helmets. What do you think about that? Because
I think you're talking about what it's
you can't use the Force to get inside their head.
What is it? What is that material called? Now I can't remember.
Kratos?
I gotta look it up really quick. Sorry.
It's all good.
What's Acolyte.
Not to bring everything back to Star Wars so much,
helmet material. Cortosis. So yeah, no. Maybe I don't know if it actually says anywhere, because I haven't read or anything as far as if they've put out any of these storylines and books or anything like that. I don't know if it's actually said anywhere that Ren's helmet is made out of cortosis, because Vader's wasn't. Vader's damn sure wasn't made out of cortosis. No, cortosis, they're talking about the material. No, it's like a force dampening type deal almost.
I read a description on Darth Vader's entire suit, and that's like a death trap.
Yeah,
that whole fucking
that suit was designed to keep him in constant pain, so like when Obi-Wan cut off Vader's limbs, your metachlorian count goes throughout your entire body. Yeah. You lose your limbs, now you're losing a lot of your metachlorian count, coincidentally. That's kind of how it works, right? So, and with, the dark side being fueled by the rage and emotions and everything else, and the pain and suffering, and so that's why Vader's suit was doing it. Sure, it kept him alive, but it also kept him in constant pain and everything else. Like, Palpatine was an evil son of a bitch.
Dude. He intentionally kept him from regaining full power. That's so fucked up. I don't know, man. They should have just let Vader actually kill him in the end, like it was meant to be believed. They should have just left it at that. God, such bad writing on J.J. Abrams' part, Kathleen Kennedy and everything. Like, just so fucking terrible.
Get into Audible, get into the Plagueis book, because like I told you before, the Plagueis book it's going to take place before but finish during Phantom Menace, and it goes into how Plagueis found Sidious or Palpatine, as he was, you know, how Plagueis found Palpatine, how Plagueis talked, like Plagueis even knew Qui-Gon and all of them. Like Plagueis, like that book is a very, very good one. And are they trying to do fan service by showing him hiding in the cave
for like a second? Anyone who doesn't know isn't gonna know. And
see, I didn't even think that was him at first.
And nobody really. Okay, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think anyone really watches Disney Plus shows like that. Like you're lucky. You're lucky. You watch Loki, because when you go into Deadpool, you're gonna know what's going on.
And that's what I've heard too. And I've seen the trailers and everything, and I know they're using the TVA. But
even for people who haven't seen Loki, if you're watching the new Deadpool movie, they straight up say Deadpool. Not Deadpool. They say Loki, season 1, episode 5. Like they're literally like that about it. Okay, so like you still get to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like if you're watching The Acolyte, okay, and it's before anything ever, and you don't know that they're breaking any kind of rules, but then you see this old wrinkly alien looking thing for no fucking reason whatsoever. Who the fuck, like
the biggest one of when this dude showed, Kamir, was that his name?
Kamir, yeah. When
he showed up and a bunch of people, like the first fan, quote unquote fan theory going out was, oh, this is Darth Tenebris and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, that doesn't even resemble Tenebris's helmet for one. So if Tenebris was,
isn't he an alien? First of all, what, didn't he have like tendrils on his face or something like that?
Sure. He was a
Teneboris, isn't it Teneboris?
Teneboris. You know what? I'm not very good at pronouncing half these names.
I'm sorry.
So, no, you're good. But Tenebris. This is what he looked like, right? And so how people were trying to theorize that was him, and I'm like, that's not, no.
Yeah, I know. He looks like a fish. Like in the face.
Like, and so initially when they first showed Plagueis appearing at the end of freaking Acolyte, and I'm like, I didn't even realize that was him at first until I see people talking about it, and I'm like, that's who that's supposed to be?
And that's the thing. Hardcore fans, which is what I consider you, because you read the books. Hardcore fans of Star Wars, I feel, read the books.
Read the books, or they read the comics, or we are more.
Like,
they're more involved in just the movies.
Yeah,
or whatever Disney's putting out.
Anything that's more involved than just the movies, which I feel like is the novels. I mean, comics is one thing to me, because I've checked out some comics too.
Yeah.
But for me, you're a hardcore Star Wars fan if you read the books, and that's the thing. I don't know many hardcore Star Wars fans that read the books and also watch Disney Plus, because I feel like 70 to 80% of them are so done with the Disney shit that they're just sticking to what they got.
I can see, I can definitely see why. Like, again, Andor's been a stretch for me, because like I can't even finish that shit. I keep falling asleep. But there's stuff like Ahsoka. Okay, Ahsoka is probably the best thing Star Wars to come out in a very long time. We'll save Bad Batch Season 3, because that came out afterwards, and Bad Batch Season 3 was like beautiful.
I keep hearing so much good stuff about Bad Batch.
Like this is why I told you earlier, like you've got, like if you start, like you really got to watch it, especially if you like Omega's story.
No more video games for me. I'm just watching Star Wars now.
It comes and goes, man. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. Like I'm on another I'm on season 2 of Bad Batch right now, because I finished all the Clone Wars, and then I decided to watch Rebels instead. Just because, again, like I love Rebels. Like, Rebels starts out slow in the first season, like I was saying, but then you quickly get into some top tier Star Wars content in that animated show. Yeah. Obi-Wan, told you before, I see, where people were talking about it slow and this, that, and the other, but there's understanding why.
Yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett, I think, was...
hijacked by the Mandalorian.
For like the 2 episodes, yeah, it was completely hijacked by Mando.
Yeah.
And
I loved it though. I don't care what anybody says.
No, watching Boba and Din Djarin fight back to back was beautiful.
But when they showed the Mandalorian on that, what was that weird looking like half ring of a civilization floating in space? You know what I'm talking about? So it was like this ring of civilization, like a metal, like a big ass space station, but it had like a whole atmosphere and stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Like how he goes there and he's just walking and you see the way everything's just structured. Like, dude, that's beautiful. Like,
so that's why I told you my next Star Wars tattoo is going to be the Mandalorian.
Okay, yeah.
Like I've already got them. Like it's going to be Mando.
Okay.
Like Din Djarin, yeah. Like I've already got.
Like
I've got
the mask on or mask off.
Mask on. I'm not a Pedro Pascal fan. Not that big. Like the only type of stuff like that I've actually thought about getting tattooed has been the Joker's sans Jared Leto. Because no.
No,
like,
no Jared Leto?
No, God, no. No, that's like the 1986 Dodge Charger. We just pretend that doesn't exist. Like any Mopar fan pretends that particular year of anything in the 80s as far as a Dodge Charger goes doesn't exist. And if you look it up, that is an atrocious piece of what the cinnamon toast fuck is this. Like it just doesn't know. And that's exactly what the Jared Leto Joker is.
The Marilyn Manson looking like kind of like I don't
know. No, that's a compliment.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Marilyn Manson. No, but
I seen him live and was really disappointed. I seen him live with Rob Zombie, and Rob
he just
Zombie
looks like an
better.
old lady getting weird on stage.
That's kind of. He doesn't even do that. He looks like an old lady walking around on stage now. Like he doesn't have any stage energy, no presence, nothing. Whereas Rob Zombie was jumping, screaming, kicking, freaking blah blah blah. He was good.
Rob Zombie's an interesting guy. He I've heard so many interviews with him. And from his music down to his movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's that one, the Monsters that he just came out with? On
think,
Netflix?
Yeah.
Funny and good. Solid. That's probably, like, some of his best stuff. Like,
but then you think of, like, House of a Thousand Corpses, and you're like, that's the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. Like, I didn't realize that I liked him until, like, a couple years ago. And I'm like, oh, wait, he did that? Wait, that's him? That's him?
Yeah.
What? He wrote that? Like, just, I don't know. He's an interesting
somebody
character.
Somebody else you'll not realize you probably like as much as you do? Sam Raimi.
Oh, dude, I know I love Sam Raimi.
The amount of people who don't realize that I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you liked the freaking OG freaking Spider-Mans with Tobey,
yeah,
you like Sam Raimi.
Yep.
If you like Evil Dead, you like Sam Raimi.
If you like Drag Me to Hell.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's always like the weird ass jump scares at the end too. That like it's like one of his signature moves in a film. Like or the over the top screaming that's in like specifically Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock. Like it's like calm the fuck down. It's just a big
getting back to the tattoo thing, the Joker thing.
Yeah.
What I would include would be Cesar Romero.
Okay, yeah.
From the Adam
classic,
West Batman.
Classic.
Yeah. Because he was the original as far as all that goes, as far as like playing on screen and everything.
Yeah, dude, he painted his mustache.
Exactly,
yeah.
and he was great. I don't care. Yes, it was cheesy, but I love that era. It was great for what he did. Then you've got Jack Nicholson, who is next to Heath Ledger as the GOAT. Like in the Keaton Batman.
I feel like the progression of Joker as he's gone through movie by movie, it naturally progressed in the right direction. When you go from Cesar Romero all to Jack Nicholson to Heath Ledger, then to Joaquin Phoenix, like very different takes, but so
I'm not even a Phoenix fan. Like I'm not a biggest fan of his acting. Like I wasn't a fan of The Gladiator and most of the other stuff he's been in. However, when I watched that portrayal of the Joker, one of the biggest things that drew me to it was you really see just how society views those of us that aren't exactly right upstairs.
Yes.
So, and you see how ugly the mental health side of things is. That's why I really liked that portrayal. Is because that's your guy you see on the side of the road there, or that's walking, that you don't know nothing about, and people are mean to for no freaking reason. And isn't an exaggeration, yes, but people go down. All it takes is, and Heath Ledger Joker, all it takes is one push.
Yeah, one bad day.
All it takes.
And also, what I really loved about Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal in comparison to Jared Leto's is that when Jared Leto's Joker came out with Harley Quinn, all these fucking little bitch ass fucking people who romanticized the fuck out of that relationship and wanted to pretend that they're crazy and they're just ultimately cringy, right? Like they're just trying to.
They don't understand Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, but also they think it's fun and awesome to be crazy, so they try to act like that. But they're just stupid. But then when all of that shit got shut down when Joaquin Phoenix's Joker came out, when people were like, this movie is too dark. No, we can't be showing this to people. Like, people actually, like...
That's what made me appreciate it even more.
Yeah, people
it's
actually
because they're like,
all that.
Well, we shouldn't be showing this to people. I'm like, no, that's the type of thing you should be showing people.
That's the type of crazy that Joker is.
That's the representation. Yeah. That's the representation that a lot of the, not so saner side of people end up seeing.
And you see the world through his eyes.
Well, so there's a reason why I have the Joker tattooed on my forearm. Not because I just love the character in general. Like, Joker's hands down my all-time favorite villain. Like, I'm not huge on DC Comics, but the Joker is the perfect villain. In any universe, the Joker is the perfect villain for me.
Okay.
But, so for a long time, after I got out of the military, I spent quite a long time trying to pretend everything I had wrong upstairs didn't exist. So I tried to hide from it, try to hush it all away, because that was the thing to do. And this makes me wear it all on my sleeve. Which is why Joker will always be my favorite freaking tattoo. Despite every other one I get, I've got 25 of them now. 25, yeah. 25 now. And he will still forever always be my favorite tattoo for that reason. Is because he makes me wear every one of my issues on my sleeve.
You feel freer that way?
Oh, yeah.
Like better and just overall, like you just be yourself, comfortable in your own skin, and just all together just there.
I can't hide from that.
As you are, yeah.
I sure as heck can't hide from that, and even I can't even wear long sleeves because you can see it when my sleeves roll a little.
Yeah.
Like, there is no hiding from it, and so yes, it makes me I talk about it more. I can tell people about it.
You're comfortable now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
But so that's why that's why my Joker tattoo is my hands down favorite. Like, there's not just my unhealthy obsession with the character, because he's a very he is the perfect villain.
That's why that is. No, go ahead.
But because of everything, he's fucking psychopath, and he's a fucked up son of a bitch.
So you have so much meaning behind every one of your tattoos.
Most of them, yeah.
And that's why it's so hard for me to get one.
Well, so like Majin Vegeta, he's on my leg, right?
Yeah.
I got that when Akira Toriyama passed away, and because for me, Dragon Ball Z was a very big thing for me growing up. It's still one of my all-time favorite animes. I watch it to this day. But specifically Majin Vegeta, because I have a very big thing with character development. I think I was telling you about that a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
So in Majin Vegeta, who's again, it's that character development, because he basically he uses this guy's dark magic to bring back the evil, to have his rivalry out with the main character, with the main protagonist, right? So he's basically going back to fully embracing his evil side for his own gain, for his own personal thing. And in the end of this particular saga, and what this pose is that he has is, in the episodes, it's if you look up the moment, it's Vegeta's final atonement, if you watch it. And
yeah, you sent it to me. I checked it out. Yeah.
And that is the ultimate transition into the hero role, because you see the dude basically but the entire before that, so he came to Earth as a villain initially,
Yes.
and then he kind of settled down, but more into like he does the good guy things, but not necessarily the right way. He's like an anti-hero.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's kind of plays that role for a little bit. And then he goes back to the villain in this whole Majin arc. And then at the end of it is when he truly transitions into that hero role. Same reason why I love the show Lucifer, because you literally watch the devil in this aspect turn into, like, you watch the character progression of this man.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And Tom Ellis is a fucking cheesy actor. He's hilarious. British dude. Like, he does all his own singing and piano playing in the show, too. Like, he's good. I love the show. I got the wife watching it, too.
Yeah.
And it's such a fucking...
No, she was telling me, she's like, he could sing. I'm like, well, he fucking better because he's Lucifer.
Well, right,
you know?
right. But so, like, he did really good with the role.
Yeah.
But in watching the character development in the show, it's why I like Dean so much in Supernatural. Yeah, Sam goes through a lot of it, too, but you really see Dean take a lot of the, he goes through a lot.
Dude, he went to hell for 40 years, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But for him, it was like how long? Like 1,000 or no?
He went to hell for a year.
For a year, and it
years,
was like 40 years for
yeah.
him. Yeah. But even going to hell, where it turned into him being tortured, and then he ended up torturing people so that he could feel a little bit less pain, and that guilt that he carried with him.
And yes, I know Sam was Dean or was Lucifer's vessel, blah 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 blah. But still,
yeah.
Like I love the character development of those characters. And that's why I've got that particular version of Majin Vegeta. Again, I love Dragon Ball Z in general, but that role, that was one of the best moments in the entire show. Because for me, that also tells you that I am one of those guys that tends to do a lot of stuff I've gone through, which I tend to thinking a little more on the negative side of things. That being said, that moment still shows you, and still shows me that despite how bad of a person we think we are, there is still always hope that you come out on the good side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the reason why I love that particular moment in all of Dragon Ball Z the most. And that's why I really love his hero transition, is because he sacrifices himself for literally the greater good, for his kids, for his bitter rival trying to keep him alive,
Yeah.
And so he makes the hero sacrifice. And that's a big thing for me. I love seeing different portrayals of that, and I like seeing it well done.
Bro, well done. This is the type of shit that we need for Star Wars.
Right.
This is the type of shit because we need some drama, some good storytelling, and some
watch
good
the
fucking
animated
action.
shows. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, one of the saddest, the absolute saddest moment in all of Star Wars happens in freaking Rebels.
You know what?
And it seriously, it makes me shed a tear every single time. And I can play the scene in my head over and over and over again right now. And I can go through, I can go into 3 different Discords right now and tell people the saddest moment in all of Star Wars, and I can guarantee you 95% of them are going to come back with this particular moment.
Yeah. You know what? Tonight I'm going to start watching X-Men 97. I'm going to get through that. I want to just start it over again.
It's honestly, with one season of it right now, it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
And especially to watch Cyclops be a badass. They did him justice.
And then after that, I'm going to just get started on Rebels. And I'm just going to watch Rebels. And
you can watch, there's no reason to watch. You don't have to watch Clone Wars and then watch Bad Batch and then watch Rebels.
Yeah.
You can watch them all out of order.
Well,
but when you go to watch specific ones, I will tell you, so you're going to watch Rebels, okay? So when you go to watch Bad Batch again,
yeah,
I want you to, so you're going to watch Rebels first, which is fine.
Yeah.
When you go to watch Bad Batch again, pay very specific attention to the beginning of the first episode of Bad Batch.
Okay.
And that's going to tie in Rebels for you really fucking quick. Because you're gonna watch all of Rebels, and then you're gonna see that episode of Bad Batch, and you're gonna go,
I bet there's like a playlist of or a list of some kind out there.
There is.
Where someone has like watch this episode from this series and then
Oh,
watch
like
this
that detailed?
Then,
I
yes,
mean, there probably
and
is.
then watch
but...
this episode and just do it all like that.
So the good thing with the animated shows is they're definitely all sequential in like how you watch them.
Yeah.
Like so you watch all 7 seasons of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But you don't watch like season 6 of Clone Wars and then season 1 of this. You know, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So you watch all 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and if you wanted to go in chronological order, then you would watch all 4 seasons of Bad Batch, and then you would watch, or sorry, all 3 seasons of Bad Batch, and then you would watch all 4 seasons of Rebels. If you go chronologically. Does it matter? No. But when you do get to watching certain shows, like I said, I'll tell you what, watch for specific moments, and it's going to tie things in for you.
Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up
Yeah,
here.
you're fine.
But one question, just for all the Star Wars newbies that may be watching, that may be listening, what is a good, in your opinion, is if they're fresh new to it, what is the first piece of Star Wars anything that they should just check out? If you had to give like their very first experience of watching Star Wars.
I mean, that's a hard question because.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with episode 1 and start the entire trilogy, or do you want to start with what started it all in episode 4? Either way, I would either tell somebody you either got to watch Phantom Menace or actually start with A New Hope because that's what started it all. You know, you could start with either one for specific reasons. You start with Phantom Menace because chronological and how all of it happens as far as movies and everything else go. And if you're going to do a movie watch in chronological order, you start with Phantom Menace. But if you want to obviously start with what started it all, like what I got started with, which was A New Hope.
Yes. So, all right, so if you had to pick one or the other for yourself, you're on the island just by yourself, A New Hope or Phantom Menace? It's all you got. You can only choose one?
I would honestly probably pick Phantom Menace, and that's simply because like I bought myself a keyboard, like a piano keyboard.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
And I'm teaching myself how to play it because I want to learn how to play Duel the Fates on the keyboard.
Oh, shit.
I've heard it played on an actual piano. I've heard it played on an organ, and I've heard it played on a piano. Keyboard itself too. It sounds wonderful. Like, and I have the sheet music saved and printed out already. And I used to play clarinet and saxophone back in the day, like way back when. But again, that's why I would start with Phantom Menace, is because Duel of the Fates is so iconic of a song, and there is so much tied to that song. Like, Anakin's fate is tied to that song. Again, like, Qui-Gon dies. If Qui-Gon didn't die, so much would change. So yeah, I would if I had to choose, I would choose Phantom Menace because. Yeah, it does tell you everything, and there is so much that depends on Duel of the Fates.
All right, guys, you heard it. So I think Phantom Menace is probably the way to go then. Which is, I mean, that works because it is the beginning. So,
right.
Yeah. No. Thank you for coming on. This is fucking dope, and thank you for talking to me about Star Wars and a little splash of Marvel
and everything.
Dude, I can't believe we actually sat here for about 2 hours and talked about just Star Wars and Marvel like that. That's
dude. I could.